Thank you so much, Musavar, for sharing such a great piece of information with all of us. And I know that there are so many questions going on in the minds of the people. So now this webinar is open for the question answer session. If anybody has any kind of question they want to ask, they just come up one by one and ask their questions freely.
May I start? Hello.
Yes, sure, Fiza, you can ask your question.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for this such highly informative session. We got to know a lot about Africa, and being Pakistani, I would must say that I myself am a very big fan of Africa. You know, I admire that land for its beauty and potential to achieve higher levels in global politics. So, okay, well, technically, I do have two questions regarding all the discussion that we proceed. My first question is from His Excellency Salahuddin Chaudhary Sahab, that how Pakistan can be benefited through this act to have bilateral ties with Africa in future? Does this have any impact on our economic structure too? And my second question is from His Excellency Dina. I think he is in the session. He's from Chad. I wanted to ask that in his opinion and in the light of his experience, what does he think that how can we enhance cultural ties with Chad Republic in a more effective way? Thank you.
Yes, Warda, do I have the time for the reply?
Yes, you can reply. Like first we can take your question and then the next question.
Okay. Well, Fiza, that's a very pertinent question. And as for Pakistan, as I said in my narrative, we have been rather slow, a couple of years back. And although there has been tremendous potential which could have been tapped, but we are always Western looking in our country, even in the context of economy, social reforms, etc. However, over the last couple of years, the policy with the Africa, the Africa first, that became a very important subject for the Pakistan policymakers. And also at the private sector level, there is a lot of interest generated. Now, many people, I have some very dear friends who are in the public sector and private sector who are making ways into Africa in different regions. And we already have over 14 diplomatic missions present in various countries of Africa. And they are always looking into the possibilities, exploring possibilities to bring about as much economic collaboration as possible at the government level. At the private sector level, of course, we have our chambers of, chambers of industries. They are also quite into it, geared up to see whether there is a potential could be tapped. I think there is a tremendous scope in the near future, and I hope although the COVID-19 is like a spanner, it has slowed down a lot of elements in the economic relations, and also in the ways of developing understanding and also cultivating trade and commerce. But we are looking forward to the future, and in certain respects, even COVID-19 is not a big spanner in that context. Many of our private sector, people and those who are investors, those who are into commerce, they are trying to tap resources in Africa. As Fiza said very correctly, Africa is a beautiful country. It has got a lot of potential. It has beauty, even in the context of culture, fashion designing. There is tremendous scope in that particular continent and various countries. I had the opportunity of being there a couple of times, and I found that the African people in general are extremely hospitable and friendly, and they go all out to make friends with the foreigners. And that is why I think it's easier when you have a positive mindset. The mindset does help in the development of understanding in all sectors of life. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Well, I desire to be the ambassador, you can say, to be like you in to Pakistan, to the Africa from Pakistan, and your, whatever you said was very useful for me, and I am surely going to apply this in my future. Thank you.
Sure, most welcome. Thank you.
Mr. Dina. Mr. Dina.
Yes, yes, Mr. Musawar.
Thank you. Thank you very
Hello,
much.
everybody.
First, I would like
Thank
to
you.
introduce Mr. Dina Yahya Terap. He is a Chadian diplomat. He works at
Yes.
Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Republic of Chad. And thank you very much for joining us today. So, Fiza wanted to ask a question from you.
Yes, I wanted to ask a question. I had a question that was popped up in my mind, and it was like, in his opinion, and you can say in the light of his experience, what, Mr. Yahya, what do you think? Like, how can we enhance our cultural ties, especially with Chad Republic, in a more effective way?
Hello, everybody. My name is Muhammad Dina Yahya. I'm from Chad. I want to tell to everybody in Chad, we don't speak English. My English is not well, but I'm just learning English. But I want to explain I want to give my answer to Miss Fiza about the Chad. Chad is a long-locked country with an area, and we have a frontier. We have Nigeria, we have Cameroon, we have Sudan, we have Libya, and we have Republic of Central Africa. And I want to explain globally in Africa. Africa has a great economic potential, but hardly the case of my country. In my country, Chad, we have an agriculture. We have a lot of potential of agriculture. We have animal. We have the livestock. I want to say livestock, but agriculture and livestock remain the economic afters of the Republic of Chad. Yes. But I would like to know the Africa, but I want to say in Chad, we have this potential economic. We have not three. We have an oil, agriculture, and livestock. Yes.
Thank you very much. Yes, Excellency, please.
Yeah. Can I ask you a question, if you like?
Yes, Excellency.
But you are very well spoken. You said it very well, and I don't think you have any problem with the English language as such.
Yes, I have very problem of English, but in Chad we speak Arabic and French.
Okay, but in that connection, then
Yes.
you're speaking very well in English. Okay. Well, I have got a little tricky question. I don't know whether you thought about it or not. I as for myself, I also have been working, very keenly in the context of climate change challenges. As you know, environment is a very important subject, and in Kenya, there is a United Nations presence called United Nations Environment Program, UNEP, and they're doing tremendous work, and they're covering the entire continent in that context. But as you know, in recent years, the climate change has become a very big threat for the entire world. And in this context, as you know, carbon emissions or carbon dioxide, you see, alongside that, there's another very dangerous gas, which we are not all very aware of, and this is methane gas. Now, methane gas actually emanates from the areas where livestock is cultured,
Okay.
and of course there is a way of saving the humanity from the methane gas emissions apart from carbon monoxide or carbon dioxide. Now, you said just earlier the livestock is a very important part of your economy. Now, has any expert in your country thought about the possible negative fallout from the outcome of methane gas in that context? But there is a way to control it, and one way is to deepen your agriculture and try and direct the methane gas back into the soil. That's the one scientific way, but I don't know whether you're aware of it. Not if you're not, fine. Of course, I will not coax you with that question. But if you have any reply, any thinking, well, I'll appreciate it very much for your answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Excellency. Thank you. Anyway,
Yes, if you want to speak, if you want to reply, Dina, or something.
No problem. If Yahya doesn't have the reply readily available, you can think about it. Probably, maybe you can discuss it later. Thank you.
Okay, so Excellency.
okay, later. Yes.
Yes, Osam, you're saying something?
Excellency, I would, if you allow me, I would like to add few things. Fiza asked a question from Dina about cultural cooperation, how we can strengthen our cultural cooperation between Pakistan and Chad. So I would like to add two things that we need to focus on African region, specifically on Chad. What we can do is that as right now we are jointly organizing uh, an international conference with Pakistani and African youth. So what we can do is that we can organize an international cultural conference in which we invite different musicians, different singers, and these kind of people from African region and from Pakistan, so that they can present us their work, their achievements. And for example, if we can invite not very famous, but those people who can sing well, and who can present the cultural related things, maybe any kind of, you can say, music in Pakistan, Pakistani cultural music, Pakistani folk music, and same is the case with African region also. So we can jointly organize cultural kind of conference, that joint cultural conference, to understand and to get to know the idea of cultural cooperation between Pakistan and Republic of Chad, or maybe Pakistan with Nigeria or any other African country. So we can do this to strengthen or to improve our cultural ties between both regions. Thank you.
Sure. Can I make my comments?
Yes, sure. Please, Excellency.
Okay. I think this is a very good thinking and a very good idea. From my point of view, I have worked greatly or at very at length in the subject of culture. Culture basically means interaction between two human beings or between two groups of people, between two nations, and so on. So culture is actually what you do and how you act and what you say. That is part of culture, and that includes melody, music, dance, performances, art, exhibition, painting, everything, almost everything. So, and mind you, Africa has a fantastic resource for all these elements of art and culture and performing arts, both visual and performing arts. And whatever I've seen many documentaries and many films as well, and of course personal experience. As I said earlier, the African people in general are so, how would I say, how they are so music loving. Every move, everything they do, every time they talk, the music is automatic, is born, inborn in their culture. And therefrom we can learn a lot. You see, as you know, music and language, they are the ones who give you happiness. They give you, joy and merrymaking and all those stuffs. And in this regard, and I'm sure there are many resemblances, many similarities between the both fine art and performing arts of African continent with Asian continent, and particularly South Asia, even more with Pakistan. And as you know, in Balochistan, there's an area called Makrani. I did some work and research on that when I was in Pakistan television as a program producer. There you'll be surprised. The drum beats, the dancing, all they're so similar to the African culture because long time ago, there were the people who came in from African continent into Asia, and many of them came into the Indian subcontinent, and they left their cultures. And these are very, very interesting. So you're right, Osama. If you can develop a plan. In fact, I have a plan which I'm developing. This called Center for Cultural Diplomacy, and there we have the plan to also to bring in, various components of art and culture. And I think you'll do well if your organization, uh, can can in the future plan such events. I think it will go down very well in bringing the two peoples together, bringing the art and culture, bringing trade and commerce, all to our benefit. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Excellency. And it's really a great idea. You are going to focus on cultural cooperation between the regions. So it will be an honor for us, for Youth Diplomacy Forum, to work jointly with your organization or any kind of forum you are going to start an initiative. We are with you, and we will collaborate. And as much as possible, our support will be with your cultural forum. Inshallah. And thank you very much for your wonderful words.
Thank you for your response.
So do we have any other questions? I think we do not have any other question. So let's move to our concluding remarks. Okay, is there somebody?
Yes, I have one question, but
oh, sure.
I have rejoined the group but I have one question. My question is I want to know the African country who Pakistan has within the cooperation. My question is for the Excellency. I want to know the African country here in African country who the Pakistan has within the good cooperation. In which country? I want to know the country.
Okay. Yeah.
Good, my question.
Yes, I've understood.
Okay.
Well, apart from Chad, there are a number of other countries with whom Pakistan developed cultural relationship and over the years. And I think Chad also has a tremendous potential that I can look into in the future too. As I said earlier, that culture is all about life. Culture is all about what you, I, and he or she does. Culture is all about how we talk, how we behave, how we act, you see, and how we sing. They're all part of our culture. And I'm sure humanity has tremendous contribution to make in this regard, and it is already doing so. And in the context of Africa, we have had very deep-rooted relationship with South Africa because of the obvious reasons. Pakistan was a great supporter, in anti-apartheid at that time politically, and we developed cricket diplomacy with South Africa, and we have also developed diplomacy with Zimbabwe, and other couple of other countries. You see, and this is also part of culture. Sports and games, they're all part of culture. So for enrichment of our life, for enrichment of our understanding, for the development of what is called tourism between the two countries or two regions, like in Africa and South Asia or whole of Asia. It is important that we try to understand each other first, and we try to learn more about each other first. And I think what our friend had mentioned earlier for say organizing one or two or a series of cultural events, it will go down very, very well. Nothing is easier or greater than the cultural cooperation. Trade commerce is not as easy as the culture is, because that is about life. And I think, yeah, I think you have thought very well, even for Chad, next to your neighbor, like that, like they say, love thyself and love thy neighbor. You love yourself and you will also love your neighbors. How do you do that? By developing understanding. Go and visit the countries all around you. Go and meet the people and call them in, invite them all over into your country or into your house. Like I say, family, makes the beginning. Like they say, charity begins at home. Everything that you do with the family first. And what is family? A father, a mother, a child, a son or a daughter. They're all part of family. And if you do something in the family, something interesting, I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do. See, like I also do. And that is part of culture. And that will help you go to the neighbors. And Chad, I've studied a little bit of Chad. I know that it has got tremendous scope. It has made tremendous contribution in the world affairs. And another thing I'd request, try and please do some studies on in the climate challenge. It's going to be a very dangerous thing in the future. If we don't attend to it, like we had this United Nations summit on what's called environment. It was called COS 26. I took part in that. And believe me, the report says there'll be horrible catastrophe if we do not start looking into it. Even for Chad, even for you as a young man, and the younger people, like Greta Thunberg from Sweden, she's only 16 years old. She took the lead. Younger people have to take the lead in climate action. And if we don't do that, culture and everything will be gone. Nature, you have to love nature. And loving nature is also part of culture. So that's it. This is what I feel. I feel from the bottom of my heart. And I'm sure if you can develop the passion in that context, you do everything. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Excellency.
If you allow me, I would like to add a few sentences. Mr. Dina Yahya Tarab asked about our cooperation, Pakistan's cooperation with African countries. So I would like to add few points that we are having a very strong cooperation with Nigeria in terms of military cooperation. And we have also heard about a deal of JF-17 Thunder, although this is not a part of our program. But yes, we can say that this is a defense deal, a cooperation that Nigeria is going to buy JF-17 Thunder fighter planes from Pakistan. And also we are having very strong relations with North African countries, especially with Egypt, Egypt and Algeria, Morocco. So we are having very strong relations with them also. And and most importantly, if we see in Central African countries, Pakistan is having trade, import and export with these countries, and we are exporting our products, especially rice, wheat, other agricultural and dairy products to African region. But I think we need to focus more on Republic of Chad, because as if you remember recently we mentioned, and when we were discussing about Pakistan Chad cooperation, so we had focused on to moving towards specifically Pakistan Chad youth cooperation, trade cooperation, and cultural cooperation. And definitely we will focus on in future to how we can improve our ties with Pakistan and Africa, and specifically Pakistan and Republic of Chad. So thank you very much.
Excellent. That's wonderful thought. Before you close, I think your time is running out. I would just like to mention one that I'd like to take the liberty of mentioning one line, and that is, regarding interaction, regarding connectivity, it all depends on your mindset. like you said, someone that you have the desire, you have the plan to do so. Once you have done that, I'm sure it'll happen. And then God willing, it will happen. And as you said, church can be the first focus of our contacts and building, building all kinds of relations are possible. And we can go ahead in the future in a very big way. Thank you.
Thank you so much, His Excellency. And I hope that this webinar has expanded the vision of the people. And we should keep on thinking about the positive changes as well as climate, because I personally believe that nature and man, they both are dependent over one another.
Yeah.
So we should take care of the environment, because I think we still have time to save our planet. So we should keep on thinking about these positive changes, and we should try our best to implement, all of these ideas in our life, so that we can save ourselves as well as our future generations. And also the points through which we can strengthen the bilateral cooperations between Pakistan and Africa as well. So thank you
Okay.
so much, everybody. Thank you
Can
so
I,
much.
sorry, Fiza. Can I just want and add another one? I just thought you have said so well. I mean, it has just inspired me. When you say,
Yeah,
you say that, it's all based on love and friendship. And
yeah,
they have, and now the world is looking like the Chinese government. They have started saying, friendship for all, malice to none. Friendship for all,
hmm,
malice to none. So love and friendship is the primary thing
ex-
for everything, for every action.
exactly. Exactly. It
Thank you.
should be on the front line. That is
Yes,
how, that is what I have concluded from all of these, thoughts, and from all of these perceptions. So
absolutely.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So thank you so much, everybody, once again for your precious time and presence. And take care of yourself. And we are ending this webinar here. And Allah Hafiz.
I love you too. Love us.
Allah
Allah
Hafiz.
Hafiz. Barda.